You have done a lot of research in this. Why do you think it's really difficult for us in Nigeria to really get it right in this regard?
Are we talking about the educational system?
No. In terms of this human capital development, looking at the critical issues to really thrash it.
I mean, like I said earlier, there's been a lot of factors in there. Now, there's another sector that, to actually buttress what you just asked me now, the governments are doing a great job in encouraging investment to the country. Fantastic. The question is, when you bring investment to the country, right, who actually protects this labor force that actually work with these foreign companies? I have, if I don't want to exaggerate, over 10 cases on my table that people come to me often and say, sir, get me out of this place. Right? Discrimination on their own soil, right? Bastardizing them, okay? Ill treatment of workers and everything. Now, if you don't invest in these people, the quality of what they could produce that will be productive and the addition to the economy will eventually be diminishing as time goes on, because if there's nobody protecting them, and that's where the Nigerian Labour Congress has failed. They're supposed to be a body influencing the government and protecting the workers, okay? But they've now turned out to be a political party in some way, right? Now, if I have a problem now working somewhere and somebody, my employer, is actually discriminating against me in sexual harassment or whatever, what number do I call? Who do I go to complain? Now, if you can't protect me, I'm not going to contribute my quota to the economy. So the government needs to do a lot of work in that area, okay, to see how we could protect the Nigerian labor force from being used in contrary to what they're supposed to do to promote and develop the economy.
All right, looking at some of the sectors you talked about, health sector, education, you know, and all of that. Now, the issue of budgeting. Yeah. Now, budgeting money to some of these sectors, is it really the answer to the problem?
Well, you need to prioritize as a government. You're talking about the economy, we're talking about investing in human capital. Two major keys in there, the health sector, the educational sector. Those are the base of human capital development. Like I said earlier, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. If, look at this recently, this health issue that we have now, this monkeypox, right? If it becomes, God help us, if it becomes a national disaster, the entirety of the Nigerian labor force, which comprises the youth, we have over 56%, okay, of the youth unemployed, right? Okay, that is huge, that's alarming. Now, if the labor force gets contracted with the disease and the other sector, which is the youth of the economy, then we are down as a country. So if you don't invest in the health sector, as we speak, there is no vaccination. There is no cure. They don't even know where they're going about it. Okay? Now, if something goes wrong in there, so why can't the government prioritize? That's why I kept talking about the health sector. Now, we have all these research centers here and there, but what are they doing? Perhaps the budget they're giving to them are not substantial or enough for them to carry out extensive researches about all these diseases and sickness and everything. So if they don't or they fail to invest heavily into the health sector, then there is a problem. Okay? Then obviously, their priority needs to be looked into.
All right. So in all of this, what do you think? We've talked about, okay, what government really would have to do. But what about the private sector in helping invest in human capital? For instance, skills acquisition. The government, of course, came up with a U-Win program, and we have some individuals that come up with so many programs. We have the Tony Elumelu Foundation and all of that. How will that really help?
Look, I'm a businessman as well. Nobody will put his or her money where there's not going to be a benefit in there. The government has to open their eyes. Look, I watched Tony Elumelu's foundation this week, over the weekend, and I was like, this is a great thing that should be happening in Nigeria. There's an investment, right? Now, if you want to partner with me, for example, let's look at the UN program. Fantastic program, but the mechanism behind it made it to fail. And I spoke to the former Minister of Finance then, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. I said, look, if they don't go the right way, this is going to fail. And it failed. You see, now, you partner with employers, and you told them, look, employ this person for skill acquisition to train them for a number of months, I think around about a year, okay? And we will pay directly to this person. That's a good step. The second step should be for anybody, like this government, they're giving out 5,000 naira or whatever to. I've asked that question over and over again. For me, I don't think it's the right way to go. There is no plan B for it. Now, if you give them 5,000 every month as an employee, what happens afterwards? What they should do is simple. Partner with employers. Employ, every time you employ someone, to train them for a period of time, right? We won't pay, you can pay them discretionary if you want them, anything you want to give to them, but we will pay them this amount of money. Secondly, for a number of graduates or unemployed that you put into and you groom and train them, okay, we will now make sure it have an effect on your taxes, the corporation tax, right? Give them an incentive. If I'm going to put my resources into something and there's no incentive for me to do it, I'm not going to do it. In other climes, like the UK, for example, that's what they do. You get tax intensive, so they could actually be encouraged to actually take these people on board and train them and bring them into the economy.
All right, thank you very much. It's an interesting conversation, and that seemed to be what's bothering a lot of people, but in and outside the country. We'll keep talking about it, and I just hope that the government will surely find a way to do something about it. Thank you very much for your time.
Very much welcome.
Well, I've been talking with Mike Adele, Human Capital Development Expert.